Welcome back, Summoners, to the final game of the night of the GPL 2015, week number 4, day 2. What a mouthful to say, Chris. Once again, Happy New Year to all of you Summoners out there. We are into the final game of the night between Phat Ultimate going up against Mineski.
That's right, and coming back to the newer thing, I hope you are having just as great time as we are casting this game, of course, bringing this game to you guys. And speaking about the series going on against Phat Ultimate as well as Mineski, we did see Phat Ultimate take out Mineski in a pretty convincing fashion, to say the least. And if you missed out those games, do go on to YouTube. You'll be able to find out the VODs at the end of the day.
So currently, Phat Ultimate, they have a one-game lead over Mineski. So Mineski, very hit or miss team. Sometimes they go big. Most of the time, actually, they really go home. We have seen them put on some very amazing performances before, and sometimes they just completely dropped out of the GPL at certain times. So they're one of the more prominent names when you think about the GPL. They've represented the scene at the Season 3 World Finals. And now here they are, they're playing against Phat Ultimate. One game down. If they're able to tie out the series, they will finish in second place after 4 weeks of play.
That's right, and the thing about, I was talking about this at the start of game number 1 as well, is that after today's matches and tomorrow's matches, we would have effectively completed one cycle for all the 16 teams in the 4 different groups, and we will be going for one more round between all these guys or whatsoever. So we are approaching, this stage of the competition where we will effectively see how XX team does. And I think so far Phat Ultimate has been doing pretty well for themselves. In that previous game against Mineski, it was not flashy, it was not going out for the shows, but it was just very systematic textbook style of shutting down Mineski and getting the victory over them.
I wouldn't even call it a textbook style shutdown on Mineski. You're just superior to them in all aspects. All lanes are winning by themselves, and the jungler had so much pressure on the map. Phat Ultimate were able to simply roll through Mineski the moment they put all the power spikes.
That's right, and I think taking a mention about the jungle is one of the more crucial parts to sort of break down game number 1 as well. Because if you look at it, Tarzan from Phat Ultimate made a much stronger and earlier impact as compared to Khalid, and hopefully with game number 2 coming into place, he would have to sort of figure out some of the jungling patterns from Tarzan right here and hopefully bring that game back for themselves.
So we have to see how this game pans out once again. This J-Stuff. Casting with me today is Chris, the Hat Man. So we have to keep measuring at these two teams once again. I do believe, Chris, you're cheering for Mineski in this case. I'm cheering for Ultimate. So it's a little bit of a
I'm just cheering for
decisions.
I'm just cheering for a good series. It's all the time. If you think back to the GPL, be it any sort of competition, be it a best of 3, a best of 5, this time in the group stages, the best of 2. I just want to, have a good series, just have all these games that is, worthy to sort of, pit against each other. I want to watch back to the games. You know what? That was a good game. That, these games were just fantastic to watch here. I just want a series like that. Just simply put, if Mineski needs to be the guys to do it, then please. Do it, Mineski. I believe in you guys. I think you can take it 1-1 against Phat Ultimate.
Well, regardless of the result, if it is a good game, then everybody wins.
Exactly. So
unless, of course, you lost the game. But the most important thing here is that put up a good fight, put up a good showing, and give us the entertainment. As the shoutcasters, we're definitely going to bring you the hype. We're definitely going to bring you the excitement. And we're going to be providing you the insights behind the teams as well.
Yeah, speaking about insights, I believe when you're talking about Phat Ultimate as well, one of the newer teams to come into the GPL, integrated into the GPL, and you were talking about Followers, SAJ as well as SF5. These guys were already the veterans in the scene. They were well known to with their play styles and their Vietnamese strengths as well. And then for some of the newer guys coming into this one, Phat Ultimate is one of those guys. What do you think they are thinking right now? Going up against Mineski, and yes, they did have a very strong performance against them in game number 1, but what do you think is that overall feel coming into the competition?
I think it's all about establishing the dominance of the Vietnamese scene over here. Mineski, they kind of disgraced their champions, SF5, by taking a game off them. In this case, Phat Ultimate, about middle table standings in their own domestic league, qualified, barely script qualification into the GPL, and here they are. They're going to say that the Vietnamese scene is superior to all the other scenes. We're going to show that we're better than the Philippine scene by beating out their champions in Mineski.
Well, let's see how that is going to pan out, though, because Mineski, at the end of the day, does have a very, very strong very strong showing against SF5 in that series. So hopefully they will be able to channel some of that strength coming into this game number 2 here. And of course, that's the beauty of this best of 2 series as well. You know, as in, yes, you may drop the ball on the very first game. You will have time to pick it up again in game number 2. Hopefully try to beat out Phat Ultimate once more. This is going to be their chance and redemption. And speaking of which, coming to pick some vans here, Fizz, Poppy, as well as LeBlanc taken out on the side of the APU squad. And for Mineski here, Syndra, Xerath, as well as not taken away. Kind of switching things up a little bit here. Syndra is going to be the one taken away, but then again, Lissandra is still left open.
So looks like we will have to see if APU decide to go for Lissandra. They managed to secure the previous time. They have played a rather decent Lissandra, and alongside Mineski, will they be able to react to what most people consider the strongest pick available at the moment? They're hovering over the Karthus here. I'm not sure if they're trolling us because first picking a Karthus, not really the best of ideas.
Yeah, so let's see what Phat Ultimate is going to try to throw us a curveball here. I wouldn't disagree with the genre first pick here. We did see Terra landing some really clutch, Howling Gales as well as the Monsoon plays right here. So it's also one of his most comfortable champions as well. So I think that's a very strong choice for them and a very safe choice as well because it doesn't give away what the rest of the laners are going to be looking out for.
A lot of big picks coming through into the second rotations. Looks like they're going to be picking up the Jarvan over here. Some consider him to be the best jungler. Some might argue a case for Lee Sin as well as Pantheon. Pantheon more for the wombo combo ability with some other champions such as Malphite in the top lane.
Yep.
Or perhaps another champion such as Lissandra with lots of hard lockdown and solid engagement. But in this case, they're going for a Jarvan, more laning pressure and more ability to make ganks and kills happen earlier on. So looks like we have to see what TG will be picking up over here. Looks like they will be locking in the Tristana instead. So Lissandra is still open, moving over into the second rotation for Phat Ultimate. This time I think they will be picking up the Lissandra for themselves.
Yeah, let's see how that's gonna pan out though. And it's almost Axel this time taking a shot at Phat Ultimate to say what, B1, you played a pretty good Tristana game in game number 1 here. I'm gonna try to channel that strength, some of that strength to myself, and of course Khalid this time around on that Jarvan pick. Hopefully he will be able to make a much stronger and bigger impact as compared to game number 1 when he was playing on the Elise. Was not showing his presence all too much in the first few levels or so, and then eventually it was just Tarzan, it was his show, right? He was just going around the map, ganking a lot, and just snowballing the rest of the lanes here. And Phat Ultimate will lock in both the top as well as the mid laner for themselves. So very strong, very confident move from Phat Ultimate, but let's see how that's going to pan out.
Definitely indeed. So it looks like Phat Ultimate, they've been playing with skilling compositions task far. That's why they want another skilling top laner. They know the Tristana has been taken away, but this time they're going to be going for the Arella in this case. Let's see how Mineski responds to this now. They know it's a little Lissandra in the mid lane. They know it's a Arella in the top lane. So how are they going to be dealing with the catch potential as well as engage potential of the Lissandra? And how are they going to be doing the skilling coming from Arella? Looks like they're going to be going for a little bit more siege here coming with the Jace, and they're going to be picking up a Rumble here in the top lane. Rather interesting choices coming from Mineski because once again, it looks a little bit mishmash. Not really sure what they're trying to achieve. I would like it if they were to go for an Orianna in the mid lane instead, fit in together with the Wombo combo together with the Jarvan as well as the Rumble and be able to simply zone away APU. But it looks like they're just going to go for the trash instead and leave the top lane pick for last.
Yeah, I was going to be a little bit skeptical if they did lock in the Rumble for themselves because just like you mentioned, a bit of mismatch here. And we've seen traditionally in the competitive history when you have a team that's a bit more mixed up, they generally don't tend to have that much success because you don't have a clear, definitive direction on where this team comp is going to go. But this time, having the fresh for himself and then locking in the Chase as well, just lets Mineski have this more focused composition because if you look at it, for most siege or poke composition, you still want that trash to be there to sort of pose as this huge engager as well. So for Mineski, at least locking that up for themselves, and of course having that Jarvan to kind of just mix everything together. And like you said, Jarvan can fit into a lot of team compositions. And let's see what Phat Ultimate chooses to respond with that one. And Interesting choice here. We
Might be an Irelia jungle over here. That will be really interesting to see. So APU just throwing curveballs all over the place.
Oh wow.
And they do lock in a rumble. So it is going to be an Irelia jungle. That is really interesting. You haven't seen it just of yet. I do believe they did say that, oh, Irelia jungle might be a viable thing in Season 5. And here we have APU pulling out the surprises. They were the first one to pull out the Kalista Morgana bot lane. And here we are. Irelia the jungle.
I bet if Morello is watching this from somewhere in the Riot office, it's like, I'm gonna nerf Irelia again. It's like,
better nerf Irelia.
Why is Irelia in the jungle? But anyway, Phat Ultimate's gonna bring that out. I think, I always think back to the time when, someone makes something historical happen in competitive scene. This time it's gonna be, Unicorns of Love, the jungler sub in for them. Kikis was playing TF in the jungle. Kind of open up a whole world of possibilities and say, if I can play TF in the jungle, any champion can be a jungler, and I think that's what APU is thinking right now.
Well, to be fair, I realized she's got pretty decent sustain with the hit and style, and the ability to lock people down with the Blade Surge into the Equilibrium Strike. If she comes in with a lower health out of the jungle, she should be able to make rather strong ganks. And Morgana has been locked in for Mineski, so that's going to be a mid-lane Morgana. Actually, some people feel that Morgana is a rather strong answer to Lissandra over here, but we have to see how this pans out.
So I think that's going to be Morgana up at the top lane to follow that through against Rumble here. Kind of a throwback to the previous season of the GPL as well. We did have a player back then from Logitech Fighters. His name was TCD up on the top lane. He did play a whole lot of Morgana. Well, that was in a very specific team comp, right? Just use that Morgana wave clear, and that's where the rest of the team comes in, use that siege composition to try to clean up the team fight. This time around, Mineski, I feel like this Morgana pick is just specifically there to counter out the Rumble pick, just because of the Black Shield and the lockdown that you get from the Chains of Corruption as well.
I'm liking the Morgana pick. If she's able to complete the Zhonya's early, she will be able to form a very strong counter engage when APU decides to engage onto them. She will be able to lock up the Lissandra as well as the Irelia when they decide to dive in for the backline. And the Black Shield onto Axel or Yume in this case will be able to allow them to tank out a lot of the lockdowns that might be coming in either from the Equilibrium Strike from Tarzan as well as the Frozen Tome from Lucifer.
That's right, and for Phat Ultimate, they will be running a fairly similar composition as compared to Kingdom 1, but the difference here is that they do not have the Sejuani Ultimate anymore to start off the fight here. Instead, they will have this late game scaling Irelia. So personally, I'm not a big fan of seeing Irelia in the jungle because I feel like she needs to be in the lane to soak up as much minion farm and minion experience as possible, but in that sense, I think Tarzan, he should be very confident of his abilities to bring out that Irelia in the jungle. If not, he wouldn't have locked it in. So let's see how that's going to change up. And of course, they will have the Ezreal kind of swapped up here as well. So Ezreal's going to bring out a lot more siege potential. And of course, with the True Shot Barrage, some global presence as well.
I'm actually wondering if Tarzan's going to be going for this very carry jungle play stuff. So he's been showing a little bit of unconventional junglers. He went for Sejuani previously. That played a very specific type of role. Go in, drop the ultimate, lock people up, and have the rest of your team follow up. But in this case, the Irelia, you want to be farming a little bit more. Your laning presence isn't going to be as much, and you want to go for these very efficient ganks of your opponent. But here's the problem when players farming jungle. Sometimes you might get counter jungle and find yourself walking into a trap where your opponent's jungler is waiting there for you, and they is using all your skills for it.
Yeah, it's speaking about the early field levels in the jungle as well. If you look at it, Khalid's going to have a much easier time as compared to Tarzan in the jungle, and he hopefully, using the Javelin pick, will be able to make a much earlier map presence as compared to Tarzan, and I really hope that he steps it out a notch as compared to game number 1 to use that Javelin to full effect. And if you look at the Mineski team comp, we kind of touch base a little bit about APU squad, but if you look at Mineski here, they have a lot of siege potential from the Tristana, from the Jace, and if you add Morgana to the mix here, the Tormented Sword is just going to make it so difficult for Phat Ultimate to push once Mineski gets ahead.
But here's the thing, when you play a Jace versus a Tristana, the late game win conditions involves around sieging. And in terms of dealing with sieges, APU, they have pretty decent answers to that. You have the Irelia to dive the backline, and the damage can be followed up with the Lissandra going in as well, with the Ring of Frost as well as the Frozen Tomb. And Nas on the Rumble should be able to lay down the equalizer the moment the fight breaks out. So this is a case of a Rumble not having all the lockdown that you really want to do with the lazy equalizer, and this is when the output becomes really hard to cast. So I think APU, Snas, he needs to be really on point with this ultimate. if APU goes even and they find themselves in a situation where Tristana has split up already.
Yeah, and I think for Rumble as well. But before we talk more about the game, let's take a look at some of the players' portrait here. We showed this in Game Room 1 as well. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your Mineski squad here. So kind of putting a face to the teams that are playing for the GPL here. And I believe we should have the Unfat Ultimate portrait up in a little bit as well. So
Chris, you know what time it is? It's quiz time. Which of these players is EXO?
Oh my.
A, guy on the left.
Guy on the left.
Is it B, guy number 2 from the left? Is it C, guy number 3 from the left? Or D, E, and F? You know how it goes.
You know what? I actually do not know how EXO looks like, but I'm just gonna make a guess here. I think it's the second guy on the left.
I actually think there's either EXO or TG. He looks rather familiar, so he should either be EXO or TG.
Are we gonna guess the players based on how familiar they look like?
Okay, I recognize 2 players. It's the second guy and the last guy. Okay, never mind, we're on to Alpha Altered. I identified Tarzan previously. Now, which of these players is B1?
B1.
Yes.
Not the, you know how in Bananas in the Pajamas they have a B1 and B2? Where's B2?
That's true, that's a very good question. And Chris, looks like you have mastered the question dodge. So looks like you have been able to dodge the question completely.
Okay, you know what?
Guess which one is B1.
I'm gonna make a guess who is B1. Okay. I'm gonna guess he's the second. No. I'm gonna guess that he's the extreme guy on the right.
I actually think that is wrong. Yes. I'm not ready that.
I'm
not ready.
You do not know the answer, do you?
I think B1 should be guy number 3 from the right.
Guy number 3 from the right. Oh, alright. He kind of looks like a banana. I don't know. It's like, okay. Anyway,
what?
What? Bananas in Pajamas have B1 and B2, right? So it's like,
yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, for our viewers out there who wants to correct the shortcasters, head on down to gpl.garena.com. You will be able to see the players' portraits beside the player names, and that's how you know which player is who. And one day hopefully we'll get to see this portraits once again, and you'll say, oh, you know what, that's B1.
But get ready, Chris.
That's her.
The next time we cast together, it's gonna be quiz time whenever these portraits show up.
Oh wow, some additional research to be done. It's like, oh, actually, yeah, that's.
It's like we research the stats, research the playstyles and everything, and then
like, oh, but we don't know the players.
Jay someone starts asking you about who's who.
Yeah, and speaking about who's who, it is gonna be APU going up against Mineski here in game number 2 of the series. And I believe that's a mistake there. APU is up by 1, not Mineski, but we're gonna fix this as quickly as possible. But do not be mistaken, this is gonna be APU going up against Mineski. APU on the blue side, Ness gonna be playing Rumble up at the top lane, Tarzan playing Arena in the jungle, Lucifer playing Lysandra in the mid lane, B1 and Terra in
B1 might be caught up, but here comes the flash, Dark Binding. B1 having to burn his own flash to escape away from that one. So flash for flash. I have to say though that Mineski come out behind in that one because B1 will still have his Ascent Shift to be able to find a disengage as well as escape if the opponent's jungler comes for him. But for TG, he only has the Black Shoe in that case, and there's a Tarzan coming in from the jungle.
Alright, for our viewers who are watching, there is a small mistake in the overlay here. It is Phat Ultimate leading by 1 game in the series, and Mineski looking for their victory here tonight. And let's see how this level 1 is going to play out here. We did see Mineski making a fairly aggressive move down into the jungle of Phat Ultimate here, placing 1 bead ward in the red side jungle for their own to kind of spot out where Irela is at this stage of the game. I think that's going to time up very, very soon as well. And it looks like it's going to be a standard lane start out for both teams here. And for APU, in the previous game when they were playing the Tristana as well as the Janna lane, we expected them to be behind, but they had the confidence to go in there and say, you know what, even though we're playing the losing matchup, we will still be able to stay ahead or stay even in the match itself, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh man, Lucifer actually misses the first CS of the game. So I'm not really sure if it's that familiar to Lysandra. That's shown to play rather weakened Lysandra, but Lucifer not really impressive so far. I mean, he missed the first CS after. Oh, who got the chair?
Yeah, that's right. The death sentence now down onto Terra, bringing him down to about a quarter of the HP as well. And that's the bigger difference now, I feel, between these two matchups. You have that hard engage potential from that threshold, so you cannot overlook that sort of plays here. And in the mid lane itself, we did see Yume. And once again, up the top lane, TG 2 for 2 now with the Dark Binding as well. So this looks like a pretty good start for Mineski here. And it is going to be Noel as well as Axel just pressing down onto Terra. Very quickly, you see where the focus for this Mineski bottom lane is on for this matchup.
So Phat ultimately have a slight advantage in the laning phase, I would feel, in the bottom lane, but Mineski in the mid lane as well as the top lane, they picked these picks as rather counter picks. They knew that the Lissandra was coming, they knew it was a rumble, they were picking the Morgana into. So let's see how they manage these things up. And more importantly, I'm really curious to see how this Arena does in the jungle. We see her at about 50% health now and hitting level 3. Does she go back or does she go for gank? Looks like Arena's going to be recalling. So that should be... Oh, she picks up the Stalker's Blade instead. Really interesting here.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that pickup as to the Ranger's Trailblazer, because if you look at what Khalid is going to try to do from on, now that he has that upgrade, he's going to try to power farm up, get to that level 6, and that's where the Cataclysm is going to be a huge threat for the side of APU to deal with. Whereas for the side of Tarzan, we saw in game number 1, he likes to gank, he likes to make the jungle presence very, very early on. So having that Stalker's Blade means that he's going to be able to come into lane, use that smite to slow, and then eventually use that Q to try to catch back up as well. So I really like how his itemizing into his own playstyle.
So on the side of Mineski, however, we had to see how these two laners fare against each other. Once again, Tristana always expected to kind of play a losing lane, but going up against the Astra as well as the Janna dropped rather low early on for us to pop the consumables. But nonetheless, B1's doing a very good job of getting ahead in terms of CS.
Right, and still a pretty even start here. Noel here gonna look for the gank onto B1 here, but he is gonna be able to Essence shift out of that sticky situation as well. So kind of a botch gank down in the bottom lane, but saw the kind of threats that could come into play if Noel does get that CC right as well. And one more play now down onto Terra's gonna put some damage down to him, but the Howling Gear is gonna reset that bit of exchange down here. And up in the top lane, we do see Tarzan now looking to collapse onto TG. He knows for a fact that Khalid's nowhere around the area. Dark Mining's gonna land. TG here still taking a whole lot of damage. Is he gonna go down? The smite comes down as well. And that is gonna be the first blood going over to Tarzan, the jungler Aurelia.
Missing the Black Shield onto the initial stun from Tarzan. TG definitely could have played the one better, but nonetheless Tarzan as well as Nas having a very good juggle of the aggression onto TG to be able to pick up the kill for themselves.
And also, this is the kind of play that we are talking about for Tarzan, and picking up that Stalker's Blade is very, very useful in that situation as well. Getting that extra bit of crowd control in, just locking the kill down to TG as well. A very nice and clean kill up the top lane, and we're talking about Khalid. He did make a presence down the bottom lane, but unfortunately that did not translate into a kill. So that's the sort of difference that you start to see now between these two teams.
So we are seeing a difference in items once again. This time Jarvan, he goes for the Ranger's Trailblazer. So this is rather interesting. We thought that Jarvan would be the one to pick up the Stalker's Blade, and Aurelia the one to try and skill and pick up the Ranger's Trailblazer instead. Yeah, but in fact it is the other way around, and it's Tarzan who is the one who gets the successful gank on.
B1 is a very aggressive trade back onto EXO once again. We did see Noah actually putting a lot of pressure down to Terra, but I think he's starting to find his groove in this lane, getting that Howling Gale down onto both members of the bottom lane duo of Mineski. That just shows how comfortable he is on this Janna champion at this stage of the game. EXO now once again stepping out of line here, a bit over aggressive on his positioning here, and that could easily translate into kill if B1 finds himself in a much closer position like what he tried to do there.
But on the other hand, Tyr is making some risky moves in the lane itself to help him win these trades, but Noah hasn't really been able to punish them out just yet. With his death sentences, really nothing catching much but air.
Zephyr now goes down onto EXO once again. Gonna bring him down to about a third of his HP, and B1 as well as Terra's gonna try to freeze up this lane for a small bit here, as the rest of the lane's still pretty even so far. In the mid lane, we do see Yome starting to actually snowball a little bit up against Lucifer here. 10 CS lead, and that's a pretty different start already as compared to game 1. And here comes the death sentence once again. Noah's not going to land up that one, so he's going to take a couple of poke because of that. And you see Lucifer around the area, and I think Mineski spelled that one out, so they will back up for the time being.
So the road comes down for the mid lane, but the ward spots Lucifer out. No roaming presence coming in just yet. I mean, I can see the Jace taking a very comfortable lead over the Lissandra.
Right, so B1 now, knowing for a fact that EXO has decided to back off for the time being, will just get a couple of extra farm in, a couple of extra experience in as well. But so far, this game has been pretty quiet as compared to game number 1. It was very bloodthirsty at the start for the APU squad. This time around, they are a bit more controlled. They just favor farming a bit more and getting a bit more extra experience as well.
Interesting build coming from the Morgana. Looks like she's going to be dealing with the Mortal Moment concept. They are not going for the very tanky raw of Aegis Morgana we've seen them to go for before. And they're going to be going for a little bit more damage in this case.
Yeah, speaking about damage, we do see Yume picking up that Tear of the Goddess, so he's going to be set back in terms of his own damage output for a little bit, but I think once he gets that Muramana and eventually setting that into a Muramana, that's going to do a lot more damage. So let's see how that one pans out. He's going to be Khalid going up against Tarzan, and in fact he's going to dash over the wall as well. Lucifer's going to try to follow out on that, and Frozen Tomb now comes through. We do see Lucifer pick up that kill as well. We did get the Dragon aggro down onto the APU squad here, but I think they should be able to back out of there very, very safely. So this Irelia pick kind of slowly starting to make sense for the Phat Ultimate squad.
Well, that was just Khalid being in the wrong place and being caught out and punished for it. He wanted to move in to get some deep wards down, but the wards from APU were able to spot that out, and the response rate gets so fast, so immediate, and punishing them out for it.
Oh, here we go now. Tarzan looking to collapse into the mid lane, but Yume has backed off for the time being there, and the blue buff now onto Yume as well just means that he will be able to poke very, very safely from a far distance to not get into range against trouble against Lucifer as well. Down the bottom lane, EXO as well is doing pretty well for themselves, keeping even against the B1 and Terra bottom lane, even though you would expect Tristana to kind of fall back for a little bit. Khalid now spots out where Lucifer is, so he chooses to go for the fight here. Look at the burst damage now coming through from Lucifer, down to about 4 of his HP there. And Yume now is going to try to join the fight, and that huge hammer's going to slam in for the victory. We did see Khalid miss out on the EQ combo though, so that's going to be 1 kill now secured on the side of Khalid. And right now, Yume is going to jump back into the fight here, but that is already the double kill now going over to Tarzan. A very huge play here on the side of Mineski, costing them 2 kills and giving those over to the jungle Irelia. So now down the bottom lane, we do see Terra actually using the monster to blow the fight back to B1's fight here, and both teleports now down from the top laners as well. We do see the ultimate now comes through from CG here. Terra taking a lot of damage. It's going to be EXO that picks up the kill. Noel now running for his life. B1 almost getting the last bit of damage onto CG there, but it's going to miss out on that one. And once again, missing out on the Mystic Shot again. 2 Mystic Shots in a row that could have easily resulted in kills. Unfortunately for B1, did not land those.
Well, that was a rather chaotic span of events, but this is what happened. I'm just going to break it down once again. Credit definitely has to go to Lucifer. He smelt the counter engagement coming in, so he already threw the Frozen Claw towards the left side before anything happened. So the moment he saw Jarvan coming, straight away he popped the ability and was able to escape away and buy himself some time to return some damage. The response from Ness was pretty good as well, going to the target and finding the defense kill onto the Jarvan. But after that, they dropped the ultimate to equalize it. Rather well played. Meanwhile, I think it's a fight breaking out over here. Alright, here we go now. The Frozen Claw, man. In fact, it's going to be B1 getting caught out of position right here. The shutdown now comes in from Mineski here, but there is the double kill coming through from Terra now. The rest of the Mineski squad has to try to back off of this one. Ness taking a lot of damage and will go up to the Tormentor's Coin, but in exchange, Yume is going to go down, and it is going to be the bloodthirsty support Terra that picks up the triple kill in the process. Well, Terra, I have to say
bloodthirsty, man.
Very bloodthirsty support going in there, but nonetheless, his control on this Janna so far has been immaculate. in the previous series, I was saying that the Janna has got very difficult ultimate to cast. Monsoon, because of the casting delay, sometimes you end up pushing your opponents in the wrong direction. But this game, Chair has been on point with those monsoons. He has been getting the down to reset ceilings, and he has been making full use of the tornadoes to help his teammates get the knockups and get the fights that they want.
Yeah, hopefully that's going to translate over to the rest of the players as well, because if you look at the squad over from Mineski and from Beyond as well, if you think back to the previous fight, at first Khalid kind of botched the EQ combo to escape from his life in the jungle area, and then B1 as well, down the bomb lane, 2 Mystic shots that could have easily translated into 2 kills. B1 just missed those, kind of miscounted the distance right there. So hopefully he will be able to start to pick up the pace again and use this Ezreal pick. Not doing too bad for himself, 0-0 and 3, and does have Tear the Goddess as well as the machine completed. So in a sense, that blue build is going to come in a lot faster than he wants it to be. And the thing for Mineski's squad as well, if you look at it, their team comp needs to be ahead in the mid game in order for this siege and poke composition to work out. But so far, they have always been playing catch up. 2,000 gold behind now for these guys, and they need to step it up a notch.
So Tarzan as well as Lucifer moving deep into the opponent's side of jungle to get some vision down for themselves. I have to say, APU, they've done a very good job of rotating around the map and putting pressure on their opponent in terms of vision and denying it. You saw them clearing out pink wards and then moving in and getting in their own fair share of wards as well. And it definitely helps that Tarzan is currently 3-1 and 2. And it looks like he should be going for the Juggernaut upgrade. Oh wait, he already has gotten the upgrade on the softer state. So we will have to see what he will be able to make out of that one.
Right, Exo here gonna hard push his way down in the bomb lane on that Firefighter Tristana. Terrana's gonna use that Eye of the Storm to kind of fend off for the time being. 3-1 and 1 is the support at this stage. Do have a pause coming down here for both teams here. Hopefully it's not too issue, and hopefully it will be resolved very, very quickly. So it gives us some time to kind of break down the game and talk about the game in terms of the numbers and the items itself. So if you look at it, Nas has completed up that Leandry's tournament. So what do you think is his rationale for always picking that up so earlier on in the game?
I'm not really sure why he would go for Leandry's tournament this early in the game, especially considering that the Morgana did not build HP at all and went for the Morello Nomicon instead. I do believe that just leaving it at the Haunting Guys and picking up the Sorcerer's Boots would give him a much larger power spike as well as the additional movement speed the APU is looking for. So looking at the other items, however, what is available for Mineski is a lot of cheaper power spikes, and we start to see Jay's composition start to group around the 16 to 17 minute mark to try and take objectives before the 20 minute mark. However, with 18 this far ahead, we have to wonder if Mineski will be able to pull this off.
Yeah, the good thing for Mineski that has got them going though is that Axel is 2-0-1 on this Tristana pick, and if you look at it, TG has been quite spot on with those Dark Bindings as well. So in that sense, if these two guys can hard carry through, then they might have a very good chance in this game number 2 here. And I also have to give a shout out to Mongo. So far, his death sentence has been pretty spot on in those fights that we see he actually popped it. And TG up here, kind of fend off the equalizer that has been dropped from Ness here. So I think Ness is just going to go back, use that extra bit of gold to try to buy up. And in fact, he's going to go into that Sorcerer Shoes, just like you mentioned.
And Exo on the Tristana doing very well by himself. 2-0-1 on the Tristana, average being picked up. Infinity Edge almost completed as well. Let's not forget Mineski, they have the Tristana available for themselves as a win condition. The moment she gets to the level 16, level 17, it's going to be almost impossible for Alpha Alpha to reach her, and that's when Tristana becomes extremely irritating to deal with, because you have this ranged DPS champion just winning down damage onto your team, and you just don't have the engage potential to go onto her.
Exactly, and for what APU, what do they have on their side is this, jungle Irea that was at first really skeptical of, but he's doing really, really well for himself. 3-1 and 2, finishing up the enchantment on the Stalker's Blade as well. So he's gonna do a lot of auto attack damage, and as we have another pause coming into place. If you look at it all, Khalid hasn't been able to perform as well as what we thought he would be on this Javan pick, 0-3 and 3. And yes, he did try to make some impact around the map, but hasn't been able to find those kills so far. So what do you think Mineski needs to do to try to make this, pick and siege composition work?
I think what they need to do at the moment is fall a little bit back to plan B and just let the Tristana skill up rather well for themselves. Oh, looks like the Alpha team has disconnected The curse of the Hanoi teams is back once again.
Oh man, let's hope it's nothing too serious. I'm gonna ask everyone at home and everyone that's watching this, everyone just, you know, cross your fingers and wait with me as we have the game resuming.
So it looks like they didn't reconnect in the end after all, so it's a little bit of a scare. So we're back into the game once again, and so what were we talking about earlier? What does Mineski need to do?
Yeah, what does Mineski need to do to you know, catch up to this 2,000 deficit that they are facing?
I think what they can do is they can group up in a slightly delayed phase, which is that completes the Infinity Edge. I do they should be able to complete that within the next 2 minutes or so, and then they should be able to move up and siege and take the outer turrets, and only the outer turrets in this case. After they pick up those 2 outer turrets, they should just go back into turtling farm mode and wait for the Tristana to become impossible for APU to deal with.
Alright, fair enough then. So let's see what's gonna eventually happen as Exo, I believe he should have enough to complete their IE now, as we do see the bottom lane of Mineski retreating at this stage. Well, did take a fair bit of poke damage from the Mystic shots from B1 as well, but it's going to be a pretty essential point of the game now. 50 seconds more towards the next Dragon's entry into the game. And if APU picks that one up, that's going to be Dragon number 2 for them as well, which means that they will have a lot of wave clearing power on their own end.
The wave clear is definitely very important for them, and that is what they might want to try to secure the second Dragon for. It will be spawning in another 30 seconds. Last time Mineski was late to the party. Let's see if they will be able to mount a better defense this time now that they have all the power spikes.
Okay, we go now. We do have the 4-man group up in the top lane. That's going to be the area of focus here. And with him being overheated, he has nowhere to run. And that is going to be a 4-man dive up into the top lane. And we do see mass recalls coming through now for the rest of the Mineski squad. I think we know for a fact that they're going to try to challenge for the Dragon, so they're going to TP. They're going to come back around this area, but is it going to be too late though? Tarzan Terror as well as B1 is already around the corner here. I think this is going to be another Dragon yet conceded over to the Unfought Ultimate squad without any challenge at all. So that's Dragon number 2 with the extra pushing power buff.
I have to question Mineski's decision making over that decision to use the Dragon, because they should have known that the Dragon was spawning ready. They had the timer, they knew that they had overcommitted up into the top lane. What they should have done is just simply trade the Dragon, pick up a free tower for themselves, and perhaps try to get the second one as well. Oh, no one gets caught.
Right, here we go now. Tarzan as well. Lucifer might have just overindulged in the jungle area of Mineski at the blue side. It is a 2-for-1 trade so far. We did see Noel going down here. Will we see more though? Terra as well as B1 are going to run for their lives here, and even though Yume was chasing down to them, I don't think they had enough damage to trade back for that one. So Mineski picks up 3 successive kills in a row, did lose the Dragon here, but I think they're starting to catch themselves back into this game.
I mean, but here's the thing, Mineski, with all these power spikes, they want to be grouping up more aggressively. Yes, they're winning the fight, but they want to be taking up at least a few objectives to try and close the goal gap to this Unfought Ultimate. Let's not forget the ultimate goal in this case is to get to start the Hyper Strength corners.
Right, Exo is going to try to trade some damage back onto B1 with the Infinity Edge actually taking him down quite low as well. B1's going to go in for this one, and we do see the kill once again for Exo, and B1 getting too comfortable in the area right there. So nice easy kill for Exo, as Tarzan as well as Terra is going to be around the area to fend off the Mineski squad, but it is going to be a 4-man collapse though, so I don't think that, you know, actually Mineski is looking to back off as well. They know for a fact that Lucifer is coming around the area.
The aggression from Mineski is spot on in this case. They know they have the advantage, they know they have hit the power spikes, and they're not afraid to use it against Unfought Ultimate. My only criticism is that they should be using this more aggressively on the objectives. Just use the threat of your power spikes, zone your opponents off the objectives, and start picking it up for yourselves. Kills are always good, yes it gets you hit and experience, but it would be nice to close the goal gap for yourself.
Oh, I think they heard you loud and clear in that one, because we did see Exo take out the bottom lane turret as well, and kind of closing the goal gap back to about 500 goals. So a much closer game in this one as compared to game number 1, and I feel like Mineski has sort of gotten the right answers to the different questions that APU has been throwing to them.
definitely the aggression that APU showed us in the first game has been rather missing as compared to this one. But now that Astro has got a Frostborn gauntlet completed for himself, this is where APU might want to start turning on the competition. But this is 20-minute mark, and this is where Dorian is going to be completed on Lissandro's team. Astro is going to be completing the mana item on himself, gets to boost 750 mana of it, and here we go. It's Mineski once again aggressively building on the ball.
We did not get the Howling Gale coming through as well. TG is going to try to bring down B1 here. It's going to be the Morgana that picks up the kill once again. A 5-man collapse now down into this bottom lane here. And Mineski, for the first time in the series, does have the kill lead right here. We do have Lucifer in the mid lane trying his hardest to actually push out the lane, but this 4-man stack now down the bottom lane, and with the death sentence coming in as well, will we see the hard engage come through from Mineski here? So Wells in a lot of trouble here. I think he has to flash out of the way, and he will go down to Tarzan in the end with the kill coming through here. Mineski's gonna fend and run for their lives here. Exo's down at about a third of his HP. Terra once again getting brought down, and will Exo actually get the kill? Yes, he does. He gets the shutdown and leaps away from that territory. Lucifer is gonna come back in for this one. And will we see, actually, Yume comes collapsing down here. Nas is going to be in a lot of trouble here. It's going to be Yume that picks up the kill. True Shot Brush now is going to come through. Where's the last bit of damage? Does not land the accelerated Shock Blast from Yume here. They will trade really evenly. 3 for 3 in that one. Mineski still coming out on top of that one.
I have to say though, I have to criticize Mineski's decision making and shot calling over there. It felt like not all the members were on the same page. If you want to go for the true shots and find picks under the turret, you gotta communicate that as a team. Tarzan got extremely low, but you gotta communicate that as a team. If you land the target buying, the rest of the team has to know what is the play after one of these very lockdown true shots. Is it to engage, or are we just going to be taking the turret for themselves? Because if they want to be taking a turret, they should be holding on to these disable spells and just simply having a threat of them to sort out their opponents from the turret and pick up the objective for themselves. But they just got too trigger happy, they threw out the spells, and it was just a 3-man stack, a 4-man stack. Teleport came in, and Mineski found themselves in a very difficult position.
Yeah, that being said though, I feel like overall Mineski is actually having a lot more, if you look at their kill allocations here, it's much more even across the board here. 3 kills now to TG, 4 kills to both Yume and EXO here. So all the carries are actually having access to a lot of goals here. As compared to APU here, Tarzan is the one holding on to a majority of the kills on his own end here. So investing a lot on this carry jungler Irelia here. Not too sure how that's going to play out as well. And if you think back, cast your minds back to game number 1 as well, the reason why APU was able to play so aggressively is because of the fact that they had that Sejuani in the mix. So their ultimate is going to force an engage anytime, anywhere against Mineski. But this time around, they don't have that. That might be the changing factor here for Mineski.
But it's Mineski who has the Jarvan available for them to lock down people with the Cataclysm, and after the burst damage is going to be followed up from the Jace as well as Tristana and the Buster Shot.
Yep, that's right. Dragon's going to come back in about 15 seconds. So Mineski looking to shove up the mid laner, and this is the point where I feel, you know, this is where the siege composition is going to come into play here. Yume finishing up that last Whisper, and we do have EXO having the static shift as well. TG's going to pull some threat here. Here comes the Equalizer, trying to shut off EXO from the rest of the squad here. TG taking so much damage, and he might just go down getting the Sonias for a last bit. Last second of breath here, but it's not going to be enough here as he's going to go down. 4v5 fight as it is going to be in the Dragon Pit area here. He's going to kind of body block from the accelerated shot blast, and here we go, we get the steal from Mineski. Khalid's going to be the one, and B1, everyone else for APU is going to look to clean up the fight over here. Who will they pick up? Will Noel go down here? I think with both Ness and Tarzan chasing down to him, they should be able to do so. Final tick of damage is going to pop as Ness picks up the kill on the back end though. Yume is going to survive to tell the kill another day, but the damage has already been done.
So Mineski, they're able to steal away the Dragon. I have to say that that was a win for them by losing so many members. Because what happens when you play the skilling composition is that you're going to lose so many Dragons in the early stages of the game. If you let your opponents take Dragon number 4, you're going to be having this threat of having to defend Dragon number 5. And combine that with the Baron objective being up at the same time, it's going to be tearing some teams apart in order to deal with it. And especially because they only got one major damage source in the late game in the form of the Tristana. I will actually have to say that still worked in Mineski's favor, despite almost getting aced.
Yeah, that's right, but it is a 4,000 deficit that they now have to face though. So in that sense, APU did expand out the goal lead here. And you know, in terms of the map pressure as well, because if you look at it, APU has taken out all the outer turrets on the side of Mineski as well. So that's something that they have to play against now. Mineski grouping up in the mid lane though. Let's see if they are going to be able to use this composition to sort of bring that down as quickly as possible. We do have Exo down the bottom lane farming by himself though.
I mean, I have to say though, the window for this siege is over. Tristana at this point of time is very susceptible to the engagements coming from Tarzan as well as Lucifer, as they have hit the major power spikes. Warriors on the Lysandra as well as the Rendwin on the Arena. And the APU, we both have this advantage and they just force it to Baron.
This is a really dangerous move though. We do have Mineski wrapping around the Baron pit area. They will know for a fact that APU is there, and we do have the Equalizer actually trying to zone out Khalid from the jungle area as well. Here we go now. Will we get the steal once more? No, we don't. We will have the Baron buff going over to Lucifer. In fact, he was the one to pick up the kill from the Frozen Tomb. So right now they are going to back away from the Baron pit area. So they might have to concede this mid lane turret though. So Baron for the mid lane outer turret. I think it's going to be quite worth it for the side of Uncut Ultimate.
I mean, this harkens me back to one of the games we were playing in Group D of the World Cup qualifiers. I believe this Alliance against Cloud9. It looked like the window was almost closing for Cloud9. It looked like Alliance was about to completely outscale them with the Xerath as well as the Tristana. Now Mineski, it looks like the window is almost closing for them. It looks like it's almost a period of time. 30 minutes is the timer we're looking for when Tristana becomes really difficult to deal with, simply because of the amount of range she has. But APU, they're very decisive. They just attack the important objectives and they take this Baron away from Mineski. And now they have 3 minutes to start pushing into their base and press the inhibitor for themselves.
Yeah, and the thing, if you look into that fight as well, Naz did use the Equalizer to zone out the rest of the Mineski squad. They were trying to go for the sneaky, you know, gank, oh sorry, not gank, the sneaky steal over there, but with the Equalizer zoning out Khalid, it was so difficult for him to try to enter the pit area, and when he finally did, it was down to about half the HP. Very difficult for him to try to gain vision and to steal away the Baron.
So now it's Mineski's turn to be on defense for a little bit. They have been super aggressive, and I have to give them props to that very aggressive movements around the map. But as of late, Unfat Ultimate is just to hit their power spike. Oh wow. And I have to say though, they have been making a much better use out of it, getting the Baron for themselves. And now let's see how many objectives they will be able to take in the next 2 minutes.
That's it though. I still maintain the ground to saying that a lot of those kills are invested down onto Tarzan, but this time around it's a little bit better. The rest of the carries have been getting a fair bit off the goal as well. Tarzan's gonna get caught in with the death sentence though. I'm not gonna follow up off of that one. The Baron buff still very much alive on the side of Unfat Ultimate. So that combat, you know, boost is gonna help them win out the team fight if they choose to go for it.
Mineski dropped about half health. This is not very good for the Unfat Ultimate team.
Yeah, actually Mineski playing this really wisely, you know, just using the accelerated shock blast, poking down onto APU, making sure that they have the perfect opportunity to collapse down to APU before choosing to do so. Very patient gameplay here from the Mineski squad. It eventually does pay off though. Here comes the Equalizer, splitting the rest of the Mineski squad up here, taken down to about half the HP is Khalid now, has to run for his life. Naz getting caught in by the Dark Binding, but the damage has already been done. The top lane in the turret has gone down, and let's see if Unfat Ultimate can take any more out of that.
It's about another minute until the Tristana really turns on level 15, level 16. It's the levels of which Tristana becomes really obnoxious to deal with. But Unfat Ultimate, looks like they have done enough, but they're a little bit too low, a little bit extended. Looks like they will be backing away. Dragon will be spawning in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and speaking about Dragon as well, speaking about buffs as well, if you look at it, APU, the Baron buff is off of them now, so it's going to be slightly easier for Mineski to try to deal with. And let's see if that's going to be the case, because they definitely need to try to challenge for the next Dragon.
Chris, you asked for a good game. This is becoming a really exciting one.
And really close as well. If you look back to game number 1, I believe the final kill count was along the lines of 19-5. I don't remember the exact figures, but it was such a huge game for APU in that one, but this game, Mineski is showing, you know, why they were the team to go to Season 3 World Championships, and even though it's a different lineup here, they are definitely showing their worth and looking desperately for that 1-to-1 tie here, as well as we do have both teams circling around the Dragon Pit area. The Rift Scholar, in fact, going to the favor of APU. And a nice equalizer is actually going to split off the team here. No one, a lot of double here. The burst damage coming through from Yume is not too much to actually bring down the rest of the squad here. Ness going to get caught in. And B1 on the back end getting sniped down by Axel. He will go down while he's in the air though. And this fight is just going to go over to Mineski's favor right here. Ness is going to go down here. And that is the triple kill going over to Yume. They will take away this dragon as well and have the tides turn on the side of Mineski.
It's like I said, Chris, 30 minutes into the game. That is when the window closes for APU. They went in for the one last push in the top lane. They had the Baron buff, but they were not able to take the inhibitor. So now that Mineski, they have hit the scaling, they have the Bloodthirster, the Infinity Edge, and the Static Shift on the Tristana. They have the level 14 on her. She has all the range. APU unable to deal with Mineski's head on team right now.
That's right, and something I want to quickly point out as well in that last fight. If you look at it, Noel was caught out of position, and once again I have to give credit to Noel. Sorry, not Noel, Ness. He landed a really good equalizer to split off Mineski, but the key point there was that Noel, he landed the death sentence, he went in, and all the ultimates were blown onto the support player of Mineski, and that allowed for Yume to have free reign, deal a lot of spell rotations there, and he got a triple kill out of that, and that was the reason why Mineski was the one to win out that team fight.
Axel is level 15. That's gonna give him, I believe, 680 range, or 700 range over his opponents right now, which means it's almost impossible to land any direct point and kick stance or any form of engagement other than extremely slow moves for Frost.
Wow. And 638 on Axel as well, finishing up, like you mentioned, a couple of items that, as compared to B1, 1, 3, and 9, only having the Ice-One Gauntlet to try to kite around the Mineski squad right here. Yume is going to deal a lot of damage as well. 7, 2, and 6, finishing up the Muramana, and we all know how devastating, you know, Jace can be when he hits this sort of levels here. Tarzan going to get caught out by the Dark Money here, taking one shot to the face as well.
Tarzan and Lucifer need to find a very strong flank onto the backline of Mineski. They need to block down Yume as well as Axel together, lay the equalizer on top of them, and get rid of these major damage sources. And then after, it will be a simply matter of cleanup for B1. But the thing is, they need to find this fight. They need to set up for it. And I do believe with the Baron objective coming up, that is where they might want to make this happen. They currently have the vision control around it, and they have the wave control with the bottom side wave and the top side wave pushing out in their favor as well. This might be where APU tries to win the game against Mineski.
So a very important point of the match, Mineski, they know for a fact that APU is around the Baron area as well, so they are going to try to contest for that one.
Tarzan needs to flank. Lucifer needs to follow up, but they're nowhere in position to make this happen. APU, you need to realize this. You need to realize that you need to take out the backline, because at this point of time, if you don't get rid of Axel when the fight starts, Tristana will do so much damage and start resetting over all of the members. There's almost no chance to win a direct hit on fight.
So we have to look out for where TG actually puts his black shield on as well. I feel like so far, if you just put that black shield down to Axel, it's going to be so difficult to try to catch him out and to lock him down as well.
TG has shown in the bottom lane, plus APU pulling trigger. Oh, in fact, they get caught out over here. This is looking a little bit bad for them. They have two members split from the rest, away from the rest of the team. Mineski, they have this chance to go in and take control of the Baron pit. Would they do it? But no, they're just shoving down the mid lane instead. It's safe if Morgana goes back and recall.
That's right, so APU here trying to make use of the sideline to push out against Mineski to keep them controlled and to make sure that they never group up as 5. But with TG, once again, this Morgana pick that we have been talking about in the pick and ban phase, can clear out the way so quickly with the Tormented Soy, it's going to be easy peasy for Mineski to shove up the side lane and then regroup as 5 again, where they have found the most success.
Mineski play this game hasn't been the cleanest, but their adherence and their focus towards the win conditions has been spot on, and I like the way they've played the game thus far. Now that they have EXO online, the question is, with all these conditions fulfilled, do they have the ability to find the execution to close out against APU?
Yeah, and again, you also have to consider the fact that has APU gotten too comfortable in game number 1 as well. If you look at it, you might think that they kind of dropped the ball with the jungle Irelia pick as well.
Tarzan gets caught!
Right, he's going to get caught in this fight as well. Khalid is going to get focused right here. He does land the Cataclysm before going down though. Noah on the back line. Axel still left untouched in this fight here. The heal's going to come through here. Yume on the back end. Maybe not enough damage as of yet, but it is going to be APU that cleans up this fight, and that is going to be an ace. And just when we are singing praises about Mineski and how well they can potentially do, APU turn things around and they will pick up the ace. They will pick up a couple of objectives off of this one.
I have to say though, credit goes to APU's Lucifer in that fight. He was able to hold on to himself for the right time, and Axel made the fateful mistake of jumping in too early, being too greedy for the kills onto B1. The return damage just landed onto him, and Lucifer instantly dropped him down so low.
That's right, so APU will take out the mid lane inhibitor from the side of Mineski as well. That's going to relieve so much pressure off of them to try to contest for this single objective, be it the Baron or the Dragon that's going to come out in about 30 or 35 seconds or so. And this game is panning out to be one of those games where you never know who is going to win until the very last second.
Just waiting for a catch right now. Khalid looks like he might just walk right into it. The blue turret is destroyed by the minion wave. APU knows that the wave pressure is going to force them to react now. It looks like they will be recalling away from this one. Once again, Mineski, they're going to control over the Dragon Pit. Like I said, they've done a very good job of stalling out to this point and getting the conditions, the win conditions online. But the question is, do they have the execution ability to close out? So far, I think they're a little bit lacking in this area. The control over the Baron area has been left a little bit wanting to change the opponents out of it, but they're not putting pressure on the vision on top of Baron, still shoving around, dancing around the mid lane a little bit too much. Now instead they're going to be turning onto the Dragon.
Right, if Mineski does grab this one, they do. Nice and easy. Just how much damage from Exo right now. Just taking the Dragon down in a couple of clean shots there gives them the extra movement speed to try to kite around the APU squad here.
I believe it's 3 Dragons apiece now for both teams.
Yeah, that's right. So very, very even in terms of the Dragon count here. You do have both teams kind of hovering out around the Baron area as well. And very interesting pick-up from Noah, so going for the Captain and Hartman on the boot, so that they have a lot more kiteability around this hard lockdown APU squad that they're dealing with.
Here's the thing I dislike about Mineski's itemization. The mid kills is extremely delayed, but we actually do see the quick silver assassin.
Oh, he's gonna get caught in. Does use the... Sorry, it was the Mikhail's Crucible from Terra to actually kind of negate away the hard engage.
So that's the importance of these spells. It's able to get rid of so much of these CC. Is going to give you an advantage in these team fights break up. And now they know that Lucifer has gone back to face Mineski. They walk into the Baron pit, but they don't establish an infusion of their own. This aspect of the Baron conflict is so lacking by the Mineski.
Let's see if that's going to cost them anything. So B1 does take a small amount of poke damage from Yume as well. And so far, Mineski has been dealing with the mid lane push rather well, as Tarzan looking to collapse down onto the rest of the Mineski squad. Noah's going to get blown up into the air, and the Monsoon now comes in to knock Noah into the rest of the APU squad. Right now, it is a 4v5 situation. Tarzan being brought down to about half of his HP. It is the support player going down on the side of Mineski. Let's see if APU is going to make anything out of there. Are they going to try to risk it? Go for the Baron right here. Not too sure if that's going to be the decision right here.
I think they will be trying to start for pick instead. So Mineski, they're just dancing around the mid lane saying, I hope my opponent makes a mistake and maybe we can win. Now they have hit our win conditions, but they don't realize that, equalizer!
And equalizer to come in here. Actually gonna get brought down to McCall of his HP, and it is going to be Tarzan that picks up the kill on the back end. The counter kill comes in from PG here, as the rest of the APU squad still looking to collapse onto the remaining members of Mineski. B1 does have the Iceborne Gauntlet to actually push down, slow down the waves a little bit. They will look to collapse up in the top lane. A lot of damage still remains on the side of APU to try to take out this inhibitor though. So let's see if that's going to be the case here. Focus now onto the inhibitor turret here. That's going to go down to them. No kills as of yet. That's going to be awarded to APU. They're not actively looking out for that. Still focusing on to the structure here. Noah's going to catch Ness out with the death sentence, but APU has already retreated from the top side of the map.
So this is the condition they were looking for 10 minutes ago. And because Mineski, they weren't able to take full control. They weren't able to make use of the power spikes. APU win a team fight because Mineski got caught out, and they are able, and they're given a second win into the game, and they are able to pick up the inhibitor for themselves.
That's right, the mid lane inhibitor is still down on the side of Mineski as well. So that's going to be 2 waves of super minions slowly and steadily marching into the base of Mineski, and that's something that's going to be absolutely terrible to try to deal with.
Now Mineski once again, they're just going to be walking down the mid lane. They clear out some wards, but they don't drop any of their own. Mineski, so well played up to this point, but your barrel control has just been disappointing.
Oh my. Very, very risky decision from Mineski right here. Here comes the equalizer, locking Mineski into the Baron pit as well. Lucifer's gonna look to clean up team fight. Hazard picks up the kill onto Noel on the back end. That's the double kill now for the mid laner of APU. And that is gonna be the ace right here from Phat Ultimate. Looks like they have finally found the window to victory here with the death timers up at about half a minute, 40 seconds. They should be able to close out this game here. Everyone on Phat Ultimate just marching today. Tarzan kind of pushing into the mid wave here, but I think this should be it. Phat Ultimate will close out the series 2-0. Things were looking great for Mineski. We thought that they had a chance to come back in that one, but unfortunately, it was still Phat Ultimate that came out on top with their team fighting capabilities.
Mineski dropping the ball at the last part. It's like you had everything, all you needed to do was just put the win in the bag. But they were unsure of how to tile open the bag itself. It's like they fulfilled everything. It's just like, it's like those situations where you have won the prize already, you have won the lottery already, but you forgot to claim your prize.
Oh man.
And your ticket expired. That's what happened to Mineski. They had all their win conditions fulfilled. The Tristana level 16. Major items all completed.
Whoa.
Quicksilver Sash as well. And they just didn't close out the game.
Yeah, really